A lot of you have been asking for Zimbabwe content, so that's what I'm going to give you today. Today's content is about basic necessities. In a lot of other countries, you don't really have to think about running water, electricity, so I'm going to show you what we do to make it work. Okay, so if you relied on the running water, you would only get it once a week, and sometimes it's not even once a week, and so you do have to make your own plan of water. Some people buy it in, some people dig deep into the ground, and they basically get from what they find in the ground. And that's what we use. It's called a borehole, and this is it. It's a huge tank. And the way to describe it is there's lots of little streams under the ground, and you have to find a fracture in the ground, and then you'll get running water, and then it's sucked into the tank. We're actually very lucky because not everywhere in Zimbabwe you can get water. A lot of places have dried up, and so they do have to buy the water in. But again, we're quite lucky that we managed to get water, but you never know, it could change. Since we've moved here, we have dug deeper to get more water because there's a few of us living on the property, and it just makes more sense. This is how we check how full it is. You can either lift it, or we've got a bottle here, and there's a bottle inside, and it basically says how much water is in there. In regards to hot water, you have to make a plan, and we use something called a solar geyser. So it sits on top of the roof, and it gets heat all day, and it heats that tank up. I'll just show you. That thing just there. Let me walk around to the other side of the house to see if I can show you. That thing just there, it's quite big. But the only thing about a solar geyser is in the summer you get hot water, which you don't really care for. And in the winter, we do get sun here, but it's quite crispy, and so it doesn't heat as much as you want. So in the winter you want a hot bath, and you can't have it, so it's quite frustrating. Now we also use a gas geyser, which is kind of like a boiler. Just gonna avoid the sprinkler before it comes back. Okay, this is a gas geyser. Gas geyser heats up all the water. I love it so much. We now have boiling hot water whenever we want it. And it's crazy to think that in other countries it's not really something you have to think about, but definitely in Zimbabwe it is. Some of you might also be thinking, why have you got a gas bottle? We don't have gas pipes here. So again, this is the plan you make. You get gas bottles, you fill them up, you attach them. So even with our oven, the same thing. I'm just going to walk over to it. And the gas bottle sits outside. So our gas bottle for our oven is there. And the cooker is obviously here. So we have two gas bottles. When it runs out, and then we can just switch it straight over. But yeah, that's the plan. Again, you make with gas because you don't have gas pipes here. With electricity, again, it's very hit and miss, and you don't know when you're going to get it. And so a lot of people, again, make their own plans. Let me show you. We are so lucky in Zimbabwe to have so much sun, and so many people live off solar. I'm going to show you all the panels that we've got. These are all the solar panels that we have. And then we have a big battery in the house that takes all of the sun in, and it charges throughout the day. And so during the night, obviously we'll lose battery power, but we don't ever lose power most of the time, sometimes. But you do have to be very mindful. Like with our borehole, you have a pump that sucks all the water up. And if you leave that on during the night, it's pumping water all night, and it's struggling to pump water because there's not much in the streams. It can kill your battery. And so you just have to be mindful to turn certain stuff off. If there's anything running, what's happening. One day that our gate alarm was tripping, and it was sucking all the power out of our battery, and then we woke up and we had no power. These are the batteries. They're big boys. And then this is a system to show you how much percentage you have on your battery. So this has 98% currently. This is how much we're generating through solar, so that's quite good. And then we now have a system where we get so much solar and we pump back to the electricity company. So they take power from us, but because they do that, they also give us electricity units. It's a really good system, to be honest. You definitely learn to adapt. Like at night, don't leave all the lights on. Although we don't have an issue because of how big our system is, but I can imagine that most Zimbabweans are like that. You're turning lights off to save power, to make sure that when you wake up in the morning, you can obviously have your cup of tea. A lot of people don't use normal kettles. They'll use a gas kettle. So we've obviously got a normal kettle, and we use a normal kettle because we can. A lot of people have gas kettles. So again, it's making a plan and changing it up. Also, when you wake up in the morning, it's not just about waking up, there's also tasks that have to be done. So as you've noticed, the sprinklers on, so I would have got this morning. James has gone to the UK. I would have got this morning, put the sprinklers on. We do have gardeners, we have staff that do that, but they start at 7, and we like to put sprinklers on earlier just so the grass is watered before the sun comes out. You also have to turn the pool on because a lot of households in Zimbabwe have a pool because it's always nice and hot here. So you have to turn the pool on to make sure it stays nice and blue. I'm just going to show you our pool. It's a little bit low. It needs topping up, but I'm sprinkling first. And then I might top up after if the borehole's got enough water. There's our pool. If you don't run the pump, then this pool will turn green. So you have to make sure that it's always running in the day, not at night, because it would kill our battery for our solar. There is one more thing, and it's going to sound really strange to you, but in the country where I'm from, so UK, the mud is brown, but here it's very rich. It's got a real red tinge, and it stains and it gets everywhere. So if the dogs go outside and they come in and they've got red paws, it's so annoying because it is really hard to get our clothes here. Let me show you. Can you see the ground's very reddish? Trying to find patches. And I also did just mention that we have staff, and it's so normal in Zimbabwe. Most people have staff, even if you're on the lower earning bracket, most people have staff. Jobs are hard to find here, and people obviously want people to survive, and so they're very good at supporting each other. I know it gets a lot of people's backs up when I say we've got staff, but honestly, even the people that live on the outskirts of Zimbabwe, so more in the bushy areas where they have their huts and stuff, that's a thing here, it's like so normal. Even they will have staff to do stuff for them. They just pay a lower rate because, like most places, in the city it's more expensive, out the city it's less expensive. First bit of Zimbabwe content for you. I need to go turn the sprinklers off, so that's me for today. Thanks everyone, love you.